The national media has been going crazy about the Detroit Pistons, but when you're thinking about what they're mentioning when they're bringing them up, it's their defense and their fast break scoring. One thing they have not talked about is what they can do in the half court. And this team has the potential to be one of the best passing teams in the NBA in the terms of ball movement, passes per game. They have a great flow to their offense, and it's only going to get better. This is year one of JB Bickerstaff, who, mind you, is a defensive-minded coach, is bringing the best out of this offense as well. Obviously, they're doing great on the defensive end, but I think their offense has been getting overlooked. So Cade Cunningham is going to take it up top. And when you're thinking about some of the biggest plays for each team and what's, I guess, maybe iconic for each team, Detroit's is their pick and roll between Cade and Duren, which is able to create a multitude of looks and opportunities. So what Jalen Duren's going to do here is it's almost like a bluff of a screen, and he's going to slip down to the high post. And so Jamal Murray is going to go over, and that might have been the game plan, and that was a little bit quick for Jokic, and it looks like they're a little confused up there. Michael Porter Jr. can say, oh, I might be able to go on to him, but what's going to happen is he doesn't want to leave Tobias Harris open for a three. So it gets the ball down to Duren. Michael Porter Jr. notices Asar Thompson wide open for a cut. And the big thing about Jalen Duren is he's one of the best playmaking bigs. There's some bigs who might just turn and go right up with it, but Jalen Duren instantly notices Asar Thompson down low, bounce pass, easy dunk for Asar Thompson. Detroit was the first to strike, and they led for about 3 to 4 minutes. And in those 3 to 4 minutes, they were looking like the more dominant team. Kind of like when they came out against Boston, they showed more effort, energy, aggression, competitiveness. And in those 3 to 4 minutes, they looked like they were going to continue that against this Denver team. But Denver did not fall like Boston did. Denver blew up the lead to 18 points. And it took a little bit, but Detroit showed resilience that they've showed throughout the streak. The similar things we talked about. When a lead gets big, they don't let it stay there. They fight back and they chip it back to bring it close. Like I said, Detroit brought it to 1 point before eventually falling back to 5-point deficit at the halftime. And Cade in that half with only 1 point, 3 field goal attempts. And in Cade's career, he's only had one game with fewer field goal attempts in a half. And that was 2 against Miami in, I believe, 2021. It was a rare Asar Thompson first half as well. We usually see him leading Detroit in the plus-minus stat. Tonight, he was the biggest deficit there with a minus 19, but he was the one player who did cut the lead to 1 with a crazy Euro. We're going to look at it in a little bit. And also, I want to shout out Simone Fontecchio, the great start in his return. I know there's been a lot of hate towards how he's been playing this year. I believe it was a toe injury he had over the summer, and he just has not looked right. I'm curious to see if he can actually get that going. I believe he was a plus 10 in that first half. He had 8 points, and he's always moving on the court. That's one thing you can always count on with Fontecchio. And I did mention we were going to take a look at this Asar Thompson play. Takes it right at Christian Braun. Fakes going right. We're going to rewind that real quick. Looks like he's going to go right or pass it there. Christian Braun is a great defender as well. He swipes. Asar goes behind the back. And it's an easy slow down Euro step against DeAndre Jordan. Easy layup. And we're going to look at it one more time here. And his on-ball creation, a sight to behold for this Detroit team. If he can continue to do that on a nightly basis, I mean, I'm confident he could be. I mean, some people already think he's the second best player on this Detroit team. But he could be that second star next to Cade that a lot of people are saying we need to go get in free agency. Asar has the potential to be that guy. And when you look at the previous 7 games, like I talked about with Detroit having the resilience to always come back, they ended up bringing the lead back to 1, but they could never seem to get over the hump and take the lead again. It was a 5-point deficit at half, and into the third quarter, the lead grew all the way to 25 points. And Detroit was not able to overcome the largest deficit of the game of 25 points. And they honestly didn't even make it close. And if you're Detroit, you can't feel too bad about this. Every loss hurts, but you're coming off an 8-game win streak and you're not going to be able to win out the rest of the year. That's just a fact, and that's obvious. They were pretty close to Denver in all of these categories. They were winning in points in the paint. Second chance points, they were only down by 1, and they were up by 1 in fast break. So this does not feel like a 15-point effort loss. It honestly just reminds me of a tired Detroit team. But I mean, you're a tired Denver team. So Do with that information what you will as well. And I mean, when you have a guy like Cade Cunningham have a rough start and have a rough finish to the game, to be honest, he was able to save himself a little bit getting up to 11 points, but still, that's only 11 points. 3 of 12 shooting. I mean, you're going to have a tough time winning any ball game against any team, let alone against a championship contender with Nikola Jokic. And Detroit has a chance to bounce back from this one pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure they have a back-to-back tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow against Brooklyn at 7 p.m. Brooklyn's 21-37. And this is one of the games where you need to bounce back quickly. Think about that loss to Cleveland and how you bounced back to beat Charlotte. Think about how you almost lost that lead to Charlotte and then you bounce back and almost beat the Bulls by 50. You cannot go into this Nets game lackadaisical. You can't go into the Nets game thinking you have an easy win. And I don't want to say that they think that because they've been showing time and time again over that the win streak they had that they were taking care of the teams they need to take care of. So we're going to be back at it again tomorrow. And hopefully we're talking about a 34-27 Detroit team. Go Pistons. Have a great night.